So your experience with the California model, Coby, what what is it exactly that people need to do to get to where you're at, or just get started within the program?
Well, I mean, the Governor Newsom's ideal of the California model, you don't have to really do something to get to somewhere where they're doing it. They're just starting it out. It's going to be at all prisons eventually. Um, they just started at select locations, San Quentin being one of them. The the vision of the California model, I believe, was just to see the other side, as they say, more as people, and to actually rehabilitate inmates instead of just warehousing them and then kicking them back to society with no job skills or coping mechanisms, just to warehouse them and then throw them right back to the streets where.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Hey, bro,
Well, they
I
just
apologize
continue
for cutting
doing
in.
the same
Can
thing.
can can you adjust the mic? It sounds like you're kind of far away, and the sounds low. I apologize for cutting in, man.
Okay.
Thank you. Better,
Better.
much better. Thank you very.
It was just, yeah, CDC was just kicking people, warehousing them, and then kicking them out. And they would just do the same things they didn't, that got them here in the first place. They had learned no skills, definitely no coping mechanisms, and so the recidivism rate for California was terrible.
And when those when those programs go to every prison, what is it that exactly that people have to do? Do they have to sign up? Is there something that do they have to have a certain amount of points or stay out of trouble? Is there certain guidelines and criteria they have to fit into?
No, actually, there's not. It started at 7 institutions first, and if you were there, you were there, and it's normalization is one of the things that they're they're, they're trying to teach. Dynamic security, letting just seeing each other as people instead of as the enemy. It's to benefit both the inmate population and CDCR staff, as it's a known fact that the average life expectancy of a correctional officer after retirement is 5 years. So there's something wrong with that. You shouldn't work your whole life and then retire just to die in 5 years. So it's re-examining just how California prisons have been bad, not only for the inmate population, but for the staff as well.
What are some of the programs you've taken and are in?
Some of the self-help groups I've taken are Arms Down, which is the first uh, program in prison for gun addiction. Civic Engagement, where we research and write policy, like the bill that was passed for the lowering of the canteen prices, or laws, working on something now to try and mandate single cell living for prisoners in California. I took Back to the Start Reflections. It's a childhood trauma group. Compassionate Prison Project Trauma Talk with Chrissy Hortzman. Prison to Employment. I'm in the Youth Mentor Program. I think that's about it right now.
How is that youth mentor program going? And has it not only have allowed you to help younger and other people, but has it also helped you as an individual?
Definitely, it helps me as an individual, and it's certain prisons in California are designated as youth offender program hubs. San Quentin is being one of them. So inmates that are under 25 years old can come here, and that's who we mentor.
You don't have to give specific detail, but can you talk about maybe some of the things you've done to help people? And I'm not sure if you can talk about the mentorship, because if you, I'll leave it up to you, brother.
Well, as the IAC, I help to help everybody here who needs help dealing with issues, especially if it's in issue with a staff member or something. The mentees, they have their own issues that are pretty complex, which is normal. You think about these guys that are youngsters. I know I was definitely not doing the right thing when I was 18, 19, 20 years old.
Do you see any similarities in these youngsters and you at that age?
Not really, because I never would have been here when I was that age.
So, are these youngsters just kind of low-level offenders, or are they violent, high-level?
There's a mix of everything, but this is a non-designated facility, so when I was a youngster, I definitely would have not programmed on a non-designated yard.
Understandable. With I've seen some pictures of you on your Facebook page, Coby Phillips. What is it? You can go ahead and say it, bro. I forgot the whole name.
Coby Phillips at San Quentin.
And you guys should check it out, man. He's got pictures up there and stuff. That's where I was able to get some of the pictures.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
They got an alarm going off out there.
Me? Can you hear me? You still there?
Huh?
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. There. All right. Oh fuck, man! I forgot what I was gonna ask. What we were talking about before the Facebook page, man? Thought I lost you.
I don't know. You were saying something about pictures.
Oh yeah. Okay. So check out his Facebook page. We just said it. Are you able to get messages on the Facebook from people if they message you?
Yeah. The Facebook is managed by my wife, so if there's messages, she will get them to me, or I can get messages on my tablet through the Getting Out app.
And I wanted to ask that because people are asking me how to get at you, how to put money on your books. So the Facebook page, and then your information will be. You can say it here. I will also put it on the screen at the beginning of the video, and right here.
Yeah, anybody can get on the Getting Out app, which is what we send text messaging through. It's just gettingout.com. My name, Coby Phillips, and then my CDC number, Bravo BD 2742. And yeah, anybody can hit me up on there.
So Coby, as he's spoken about, has done some classes, and one of the classes he was given some prompts to uh, write down on, and we thought it'd be interesting to read them and then ask some questions about them. So, Coby, when you're ready, brother, take it away.
All right. The one of the first classes or groups I got into was reflections, back to the start, addressing your childhood traumas. Is Dr. Denny Espinoza runs the program, and this is prompt number 3. It's my first encounter with the police. So I was in that place between sleep and wakefulness. I heard heavy banging and what I later learned was a chainsaw. I thought that I was dreaming. I was then confronted with a bright light, a man screaming at me, and a large gun inches from my face. My family's home was being raided by the Contra Costa County Sheriff's Department. It was pre-dawn, and I was in the 2nd grade. The police were very upset due to it took them almost an hour to gain entry into my meth-cook father's steel-framed fortified doors. They tried to cuff me, but the cuffs would fall off even though they were tightened as much as they could close. I guess they don't make cuffs for a 2nd grader. Instead, they told me to not move from the kitchen chair or the police dog would bite me. I sat there while they destroyed our home. Clothing, food, toys, everything was dumped on the floor and broken apart. My father and stepmom were arrested. Pops was wearing his boxer shorts. My grandparents, Mama and Papa, came and picked us up. From that day on, I hated the police and dogs.
It took us an hour to get in. Uh, what what all was keeping them out? Was it a barrier or just real good?
It was steel doors and steel framed doors that were they couldn't get in. It took them an hour to get in.
What they use the chainsaws? Did they come through the wall or something?
No, they were trying to cut through the actual doors. I think were like oak, and then the frames were made out of steel. So they were trying to cut through the doors.
Oh, okay. And that cop man that says to a 2nd grader, a dog will bite you. That's a little excessive. I can understand the hate in your heart there. They were.
Oh yeah. I still don't like dogs.
Were you ever attacked by one later in your life?
No.
And as a 2nd grader, did you have any idea what was going on?
No. I was just when you're just a little kid.
When they took your dad away, did you ever thought you would see him again?
That time, probably not. That was the first time that I seen him arrested. That was the first encounter that I ever remember having with the police at all.
And your grandparents picked you up. When you got back to their house, were you worried that it might happen again there? Did you have issues sleeping? Anything of that nature?
I don't remember that. I
Oh.
don't remember.
Do you want to read another prompt?
We got prompt number 6 was the prompt is, was my childhood normal? So I made a list of things. 1, couldn't go in the garage as it was an active meth lab. 2, unable to watch TV in the family room as there were Harley-Davidson motorcycles in various stages of disrepair completely filling the room. Number 3, dining room table discussions were outlaw adventures and prison war stories glorifying the Aryan Brotherhood and Hell's Angels. 4, The family pets were a tank of rattlesnakes on the kitchen table. Number 5, appearances of adult role models was long greasy hair and beards, tattoos, bell-bottom jeans, looking like homeless folks till they pulled up in their brand new Corvettes and Cadillacs with duffel bags full of drugs and cash. 6, don't drink out of the mason jar in the fridge. Equal chances of it being iced tea or some caustic chemical used in the manufacture of methamphetamine. Number 7, standard issue baseball bat and 12-gauge shotgun behind the front door. Number 8, math learned not from a book, but from the practice on the triple beam scale. Number 9, open a bathroom drawer, look under the sink, and you're just as likely to find guns or drugs as you are to find toothpaste and toilet paper. Number 10, binoculars at upstairs windows, always manned by someone scanning the property, searching for the cops. Number 11, steel frame doors, electrified barbed wire fencing, floodlights, making the place look like a penitentiary. Number 12, 24/7, people everywhere working on cars, motorcycles, or anything else, almost always to be dismantled and abandoned by tweakers who swore they could fix it till the landscape looked like a hillbilly junkyard. Number 13, no curfew or didn't even have to tell anyone I was leaving for days at a time. Number 14, my allowance consisted of whatever cash I made from growing and selling weed as an early teenager. 15, anxiously awaiting turning 18 so I could go to prison and partake in the fun adventures. To sum it up, normal in my childhood was police raids, violence, death, drugs, gangs, prisons, and hatred.
You said upstairs to scan the property. Was it a house that had some land?
Yeah, my dad had a ranch out by North Richmond over the tracks. They called it the farm, where it was I don't know, maybe about 20 acres or so out in Richmond. Wow.
So it really does sound like all the land, man, that could have been like a dirt bike track or, places to have friends over and all that. But with all the motorcycle parts and Hell's Angels coming through, that would just never happen, which is, it just crazy, man. Your childhood is crazy. When you said you had rattlesnakes on the kitchen, man, did you ever interact with those, or they just sat in the tank, or?
No, they just were in the tank.
What was the purpose of that? Was it just they're there, I'm putting them in a tank, or were they used for something?
Just exotic pets, man.
And did you guys?
I think Al Prophet said it on his that video he did about me. Gangsters and rappers, they're into exotic pets.
Very true. Oh, were they your dad's, or were they yours?
No, they were my dad's. That was when I was a little kid.
Okay. And so, what, if you can remember, the first time you ever walked out in the meth lab and you looked around, do you remember what went through your head?
Well, the first time I seen it, I mean, I didn't know what it was at the time, but I would find glassware or mason jars full of oil or stuff like that, but I didn't know what it was.
And the chemical on the fridge, did you ever come to find out what that was?
No, I'm sure it was prop dope oil. I mean, it was a brownish color. That's why I equated it to like iced tea.
And was that a byproduct, or was that an ingredient?
Well, I think it was the almost finished product when they get down to where it's oil.
Okay, I don't know the process of that, so it's just I'm kind of learning myself. And you said you learned math on a a triple point scale.
triple beam scale, the old triple beams, where you had, like the scale you weigh yourself on, where you had to manipulate
Oh, okay. The old
the
manual,
weight on it.
the old manual ones where you hit
Yeah,
it with your finger, and
yeah.
and I'm guessing you were weighing dope out.
I was weighing weed out as a kid.
When did you start growing weed?
I think the it was either the summer between I think it was the summer between fifth and sixth grade.
How because they didn't have the internet back then like they do now, right? How were you able to learn? Was did somebody show you?
Well, we lived up in El Dorado County. We moved up there when I was in fifth grade until seventh, and they had one of our neighbors was a grower, and that's who taught me, was my neighbor.
And what was the the biggest the biggest I don't know what they call it. I guess the most successful grow you had as a kid.
Not much, maybe like 50 plants. Nothing spectacular at all. Just enough to sell at school and to smoke.
I mean, 50 plants as a kid, bro. That's that's not easy to do. And I take it you were having fun growing that stuff compared to all the cooking and shit that went to into meth.
Yeah, I was never really into using meth or anything like that. I just like to smoke weed.
I'm with you on that one, man. Um, it's more of a medication than a drug that'll fuck you up, you know.
Yeah.
And then can you uh reread oh wait a minute. So you I remember the role models that came over when they had duffel bags of money or drugs, would they mostly only have meth, or did they have all sorts of drugs?
No, I've only seen, as a kid, the only drugs they had was meth and weed. I never remember anybody like being around the house with heroin or anything like that.
When they rolled up in their Corvettes and nice on in their nice cars in their fancy motorcycles, when you looked at that, did you ever say to yourself, I want that?
Oh yeah, that. Those were my role models. That's all I ever wanted since I was a little kid, was to be a gangster. I mean, you look at these guys and they looked like homeless people. You know what I mean? But then they had all the money and all the dope and all the chicks and all the nice things.
And were you ever allowed to have friends over?
Oh yeah, I had friends over.
Were they, let's just say, we'll call them citizens, or were they families and they were kind of kids in the same situation you were?
No, they were like my dad's friends' kids. Like pretty much everybody that we were the kids that the normal kids weren't allowed to hang out with. So anybody,
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
any of the kids that were allowed to come over to the house by their parents were in the game also.
Got you. What was some of the things you did with the other kids to pass time and, when you guys were hanging out at the house?
I mean, when we were real young, just normal kid stuff. As we got 11, 12, 13 years old, we just did normal juvenile delinquent stuff, going, breaking windows, stealing from stores, or the chrome caps off the tires, just just normal juvenile delinquent stuff. I think we just started a little earlier than most.
And so, were you what when you started doing that? 11?
Probably 11.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, you guys did start early. And let's see. I'm trying to remember some of the other stuff. Can you reread like maybe like prompt 7 and 8 when you on your list or
What is it?
the list you made? You made like 20 things, right? Could you read like 7 and 8? I think it's somewhere there I'm thinking of.
Let's see.
It's just so much stuff, man.
Yeah, I think that you covered most of it.
Okay. I thought I was leaving something out, but if I did miss
Yeah, you
anything,
covered them. You covered most of it.
okay, and then I'll just say in the comment section if I did miss something or you guys want to know anything. Coby encourages you guys, and I encourage you as well. Ask your questions. Feel free to. And then since
Yeah.
we're on the subject of family, there was a comment that said that I read to you earlier about your dad. Did he was he actually cooking to help you with lawyer fees, or was that part of his defense?
Well, I don't think it was cooking. I think in his case, he used that was part of his defense to say that he got back into selling meth to help raise funds to pay for my attorneys. Okay. All right. So when I first got to San Quentin, one of the first groups I met was Diane Kahn at Humans of San Quentin. They're a nonprofit here that helps inmates. They write their story and they put them out there on the internet, gives them a voice. Humans of San Quentin. So when last year when my oldest kid died, they asked me to write about it. So I wrote a little something for him. It's since as far as I can remember, I had believed two things above all else. The police were the bad guys, and the only way to earn money was to sell drugs. A person's lifestyle was solely determined by how much product they could move. Since early childhood, my role models were bikers, gangsters, and convicts. My father was a very successful and notorious meth cook. I grew my first weed crop the summer before 6th grade. My uncles taught me to cook meth when I was in the 7th grade in my father's large-scale meth lab. I've sold various drugs since elementary school: methamphetamine, cocaine, ecstasy, weed, and psychedelics. Since I was a teenager, I've sold drugs with, to, and from both my parents. It was never right or wrong. It just was what it was. I supported myself solely on drug sales, both in and out of prison. Upon my release in 2002, I bought a quarter ounce of meth, and by the time of my arrest in 2004, I was purchasing upward of 100 pounds every couple of weeks. It wasn't until I was in federal custody for trafficking 40 kilos of cocaine that I took a drug class and realized that slinging dope was not a victimless crime. I victimized my community by bringing in meth from Mexico, and I victimized their community by sending large shipments of guns to Mexico. I believe everything in life goes full circle, and this lifetime drug circle became complete on May 10th, 2024, when my wife brought me the most devastating news imaginable. My oldest son, James, had died of a fentanyl overdose. Did my son die for my transgressions? Was this karma, or is this a nightmare I still may wake up from? That was the story I did for them.
Damn, man. I'll just start off by asking, when you learned to cook meth in 7th grade, it was normal to you. However, looking back now, could you imagine teaching a 7th grader that?
Absolutely not.
And do you fault your dad for that, or was it just kind of all he knew?
No, I don't fault him. I think it's all he knew, and he wasn't the one that taught me how to cook meth. It was my uncles. So when he wasn't around, it would be like, oh, come here, like sneak me in there and show me how to do this or that. So my dad is the one that taught me how to cook dope.
What was that? Your dad taught you what?
My dad is my dad is my dad is not the one that taught me how to cook dope.
Okay, my mistake, man. Was your dad trying to keep you away from it?
I mean, I don't know that he was trying to keep me away from it, but he wasn't trying to take me to it either. Just, it was just what it was.
Okay. And when you started really, really, really getting into weight, you know, what was the biggest order you had from, let's say, the like bikers to be fulfilled, or like, or the biggest, um, or the most you ever picked up compared to the hundreds of pounds from Mexico?
I mean, from
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
when I was a youngster, I never got more than a pound or so at a time. So I didn't start getting the big orders until 2000, 2002 to 2004, where I had a pretty much unlimited credit line. I could get as much as I want.
And you say the feds, you said the feds alleged that you were trafficking 40 kilos of cocaine. You were moving mostly stimulants like meth and cocaine, or was it? Did you ever move heroin, or did you ever move anything like pills or stuff like that?
I mean, I never moved no heroin at all. It was mostly meth, but then when we would have a shortage of meth, I would deal with coke or weed.
And what would cause the shortages for Mexico? Was it chemicals, or it just sold like hotcakes that fast?
It could be any number of things. Your source of supply got busted, or um, it could be anything.
And you had a unlimited credit line. Um, did you ever have doubts on big orders that you may not be able to fulfill it?
You mean like I wouldn't be able to get rid of?
Yeah.
Never.
And by that time, were you just selling it by the pound? No more, ounces or anything small like that?
No, I was towards the last part of the run. It was just pounds.
Not sure how much about the Fed stuff you can talk about. If I ask anything that you don't want to talk about, just say next question, or I'm not going to talk about it or anything like that. With the Feds, they busted you, or allegedly busted you, with 40 kilos of coke, right? Why? Why? Usually the Feds want their time and they supersede the state. What was it about the federal the case that they end up dropping it, or did they just kind of say he's getting a life sentence in California, so we'll just let him go there?
Well, Coco County assured them that they had us on multiple murders, and the case had all kinds of issues for them. They alleged that one of our co-conspirators was a Richmond narcotics officer, so that complicated matters for them. And one of my co-defendants was a DEA informant that was cooperating. So I don't think they were ready to out him yet. So I think
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
the main factor being, I think, too, was the dirty cop that was working with us, and the assurances from Contra Costa County that they had us on multiple murder charges. So they gave us a good deal for use of a telephone to facilitate a drug transaction, was what we pled guilty to.
Okay. What was the dirty cop doing for you guys?
Selling us dope that he was taking from other people, told us about tracking devices that the DEA had on our vehicles, erasing warrants out of the system on people, losing evidence, sold us a confidential informant list for Richmond, which that was one of our charges in the indictment, was shooting one of the confidential informants.
Damn, man, that's some movie type shit.
Man, it's all online.
Oh no, I believe you, man. And was a DEA agent?
No, he was a Richmond police narcotics sergeant.
Okay. And what was it about him and what he was doing that threw a monkey wrench into the Fed's plans?
Well, I think they were trying to charge him once they found out through the wiretaps that somebody that they were working with was involved in the case. It just dirtied up the case so much that I think that they were eager to be rid of us.
Okay, so they weren't like trying to protect him or anything like that. It was more so that you were going to go to California penitentiary for a life sentence, and then they didn't want to out their informant that they currently were using.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I understand. That informant, now that he was working on your guys' case, did he keep working, and did he ever catch anyone else's cases?
Oh yeah, he got indicted with us. He was a DEA informant and was also dealing drugs, so he was playing both sides of the fence. And so that's what got him onto us in the first place. He was going to meet with his DEA handlers, driving brand new cars and shit. So that's what got him onto us in the first place. And yeah, he was indicted in the murders as well. And then he testified against me, and is at home now. He was charged with 2 murders, just like me. He testified against me and got a green card and a bunch of money, and now he's sitting at home.
Not too bright to drive new cars to meet your handlers, you know. Not the brightest move.
Yeah, and give them your phone number. Give them your phone number so they can get taps on the phone.
Yeah, that too, man. And then also, you said he got his green card. So was he a Mexican national?
He was.
Okay, so he got deported for basically doing dirt with you, and then when it came home to roost, he was that's probably what his end game was, huh? Getting citizenship. As soon as they offered that, he's like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna tell then, huh?
Well, I think he decided to tell when I had him beat up out at Santa Rita, when I found out he was an informant.
Oh, okay. So there, it didn't matter. It was already out there with you guys, and he was going to get it one way or another. So